Hi there, Gary here again, and in this video I want to talk about objectives. So you may have heard of SMART objectives, and SMART stands for structured, measured, achievable, realistic and timed. So we'll look at each one of those. Structured. I'm going to go into a bit more detail about the structure in a moment, so we'll just say that it needs to be structured within what you're going to teach, how you're going to teach it, and by the end what the pupil should have achieved. Measurable means that at the end of that lesson you should be able to measure that achievement. So you've set off with an objective to attain a certain level, and at the end of it you can measure it. Achievable means that you need to set your objective to something that the pupil can actually achieve. There's no point in teaching something that the pupil hasn't got the previous knowledge or skills for, because they just won't be able to achieve that. Realistic means that you need to make sure that whatever the end goal is, that it's realistic to assume that the pupil can achieve that in the time that you're going to be dealing with it on that lesson. So there's no use in one half-hour lesson, for example, for the first time teaching something like a turn in the road, to expect a pupil to be able to do a turn in the road completely on their own at the end of that. So it wouldn't be realistic to set that higher goal. And timed means that you are going to put a time scale on it, so within the next hour or half an hour, however long the lesson is, that's how you're going to time it and say that by the end of this half-hour lesson or by the end of this hour lesson, this is what you should have achieved. So they're SMART objectives. Just to talk a little bit about the structure in more detail, the what, how and by the end is basically how you're going to tell the pupil what's going to happen within the lesson. So you're going to start off by saying what you're going to teach, quite simple, then how you're going to teach it, and this consists of three elements broken down into little phrases, EDP. So we could look at E as being explain, so you're going to explain something to them. D could be three different D words that you use there. Diagram, quite often you'd use a diagram. Demonstration, might be useful, or a dry run. So depending on what the subject was, you would decide which one or two of those D words that you were going to use. And then P is practice. So you're going to practice, or the pupil's going to practice it, you're going to give lots of help. And then by the end, the pupil should be able to do it with less help from you, and they should have gained a better understanding and knowledge of the subject. So you're not actually going to say that by the end they'll be doing it perfectly, because that's impossible, but you would just say that by the end they should be doing it with less help, and then even if there's only one bit of it that they can do with less help, it's achievable. So the way that you might say an objective to a pupil is you might say something like, let's imagine you're going to teach turn in the road. You might say, okay, today I'm going to teach you the turn in the road. I'll explain it to you and show you a diagram so that you can see it on paper, and if you'd like me to, I can give you a demonstration, and then you're going to practice it, but don't worry, because I'll give you plenty of help, and by the end of the lesson you should be able to do the turn in the road with less help from me, and you'll certainly have a better understanding of how to do it accurately, under full control and with good observations. So you've set it all up there. Didn't take very long to say that. The statement doesn't take long to set up, but it's important to say that at the beginning so that at the end you can go back to that and measure it and say, okay, well, we said that you should have a better understanding, and then you can check that by asking questions and measure that improvement. So that's how you would do your objectives. I hope that's helped. Thanks for listening.